Hey everyone, welcome back to another Road to Masters. We're Platinum 153 LP right now. On my main account, I am 1700 LP, so I am probably like top 5 in North America right now. But this should be our game into Emerald, which is really exciting. I think this would be our peak in the Road to Master series. I got to do these a bit faster. I might speed run them on my stream or something at the end just to make sure that we get to Masters, and then we'll like jump through the more exciting games. Maybe I'll just have to stream those and it'll be less formal commentary. But yeah, I think if you're still climbing right now, if you still have end of season goals, hopefully these videos are helping you out. I know a lot of people have quit the set or are waiting for set 18, and I think that's totally fine. Makes a lot of sense. If you're not happy with the set, you never have to keep playing. If you're doing other stuff, just we play games for fun. It's really important. But for some people who are still grinding, that's their sense of achievement. I want to be there for you. So that's why we're gonna continue this Road to Masters, even if a lot less people are playing right now. If you guys do want to see me play against stronger lobbies, I know a lot of people are like, hey, he's doing this against plat players, blah 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 blah. I think it's always illegal to throw away that. He's doing this against plat players, like that's not fair. Come watch me on my stream where I play against the best players in North America, and then we can you have a better understanding of how to apply these things in real time. So I think here, which one is the best one? It's never the reroll one. We're not trying to reroll for each starter or arbiter level. So this is 24% right now, but it increases to 36. I think as long as I cast a couple times, this should be completely fine, is where I'm at with it. Something weird. I think we're always going to want to play around Leona. I think we're always going to want to play around Stoneplate Leona here. I think there's a lot of options. There's definitely a lot of options here. Flowing Tears kind of makes sense with all the mana generation that I could possibly get. Branching out is interesting. We already have a good direction. We already want to play AP Flex, so I'm not actually that keen on branching out here. We also don't have a Reforger to pair with it, although branching out would open up like possible lines. It's just I don't know if I really want to go into them. So I think I'm not totally for that. I think team building would be interesting just to double dupe a Zoe right now, but I think money is never that bad. Electro charge isn't that bad. Let's see if we can do a risky move here. Let's see if we can get more casts off. Gargoyle is going to be mandatory here, and then I'm just going to put the rod here. Normally I wouldn't level here, but I think each Leona, if they cast, will give us a better chance of getting the next Leona, which I think would be huge here if possible. Yeah, so normally I wouldn't level because the level is pretty meaningless, but I think with risky moves and that combined, it does make sense to do that. Also, we can get better odds of Zoe, better odds of Alawi, all that good stuff here. But, not leveling here I don't think is egregious, but I'm going to go ahead and say that this was, in fact, a level diff here. And we do get a Leona, which is great. Pretty easy to add a 2-star into our board. I think adding a 2-star in is always pretty good here. I think we want to think about playing LeBlanc here. This person has already slammed and is already looking very, very LeBlanc-y, as is this person. So I'm starting to be a bit against it. We're in a 10-way AP complex. 10-way. 1, 2, 3 at least. This person looks like they're Cho. So it's always good to scout around and see what we're playing against. And this person looks like they might be Vagar. Not really sure. They're also looking a bit AP. And then this person looks like maybe they're Jinx. Unclear. So it's always good to scout around to see. Here I was thinking about playing LeBlanc with the Teemo. Teemo plus Rageblade sounds really, really strong on my current board. And it sounds strong for actually a very, very long time. So I think that's a possibility. But maybe the more prudent thing would be to try to avoid this contest as much as possible and try to play around other AP units. I think we could go to the classic Sona Bard Fast 9 instead. Yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility. The big thing for me here is going to be the item choice. Do we want to end up in the, I believe 2 people are already committed LeBlanc? I think I'm already kind of out of it. I'm already not that keen on it. Here most likely we're going to take Echo here, but if we have to take a belt, I think it's not that bad. We're going to have a Leona 3 at some point in the game. I'm not exactly sure when, but hopefully sooner rather than later. We're going to have a Leona 3, so getting items for her is not a bad thing here. Come down more into the Vagar / AP line here, so when you're scouting around, just continue to update, but basically we're heavily contested AP here. hopefully we're able to still hit like Aurelian Soul and stuff like that. We'll see if we need to roll on level 8 or if we can go straight to 9. Oftentimes you should roll on level 8. I think it's generally a bit better because we still need to find the likes of Alawi 2, Mordekaiser 2, and all that stuff. Ooh, we didn't get a cast there. Hopefully we get a Leona anyways. No, we haven't found a Leona the last 2 fights, which is a bit unfortunate, I will say. But the Leona 3 will eventually come. Neither of these are very good at all, to be honest. I'm win streaking, so I'd really like something that helped me win streak, but neither of them do that. These are both basically deferred strength. I'm just going to go ahead and take Echo. Kind of matches up my risky moves. And here we have a lot of options, but I think the big thing for me here is that we're going to stay flexible here and add a strongest board unit here, which would be Victor and Rabadons. We could, a true strongest board would be taking the bow here and then playing towards LeBlanc, but I'm not entirely convinced I want to enter the LeBlanc contest. And here it's a slam dunk level for Victor as well. I don't know if Victor or Zoe is stronger. I probably shouldn't have slammed that. I should have waited. So that was my bad. I should have definitely just waited there. But I'm going to go with my general heuristic that 3 gold is better than 2 gold. Teemo could use the Rabadons, so we could also just itemize Teemo here. But we don't have any trait active for him, whereas we do have 3 conduits. So I'm kind of more keen on just Rabadonsing putting a Rabadons on my Victor here instead. Here I would slam the Rabadons, so it ends up being perfectly fine as well. Rabadonsing, that's not a real word. But this person could cast more with the Rabadons. I don't know. Rabadons doesn't inherently give you more mana regen, so I don't think it really matters. We should just play our strongest board, which obviously is going to be the 3 cost over the 2 cost. I think there's some argument that's always like really strong. There's like a balancing issue, but in general, I'm going to follow my rules that I think 3 is better than 2. Yeah, and I think that's really good. What's really funny is that we're pretty much just this. Let's see if we need to level. I think we actually do need to level. So the question is, do we want to just level for this? This would be a greedier board. This would be a greedier board, but saves me a remover. I think we do want to think about removers. So I don't think it's a crazy idea. And then this helps me Prince Leona's a bit faster. We are not playing our strongest board. Our strongest board would be keeping that Victor. But you kind of have to balance it out a bit. I will say, I think it's important to balance out your strongest board versus your future versus removers and stuff like that. I think our strongest board would have been adding conduit here instead if we wanted to. But here I'm just going to try to make gold one way or another. And I think that's always going to be through. Wow, we didn't. That's a bit unfortunate. We could be getting up to 2 a turn here with how Arbiter works. So that's a bit unfortunate, but yeah, sometimes we're low roll. It's totally fine. We're going to have a lot of gold. So I think Fast 9 does make sense. And we have Zoe 2 and I was hoping we were going to have Leona 3, but we'll see when that ends up coming. We might go straight to 9. Again, I don't think it's ever that bad to roll on 8. If we're only looking for Bard and Sona and Blitz, then sure, it's totally fine to go straight to 9, as long as provided we have the HP to do it. But otherwise, like rolling for Aurelian Soul 2, Nunu 2, Alawi 2, these units are still really contested and still really important. So you don't want to skip out on those, right? You don't want to skip out on those. Those might all be out of the pool on level 8. So it's something to really consider. If you're ready to actually start climbing, head over to tftgameplan.com. dpei's Disciples is my monthly coaching membership, and it gives you full access to my daily meta reads, weekly live Q&As, personalized feedback with unlimited spot reviews, and full access to my library of past coaching sessions, all for $15 a month. One-on-one coaching is also available if you want to improve even faster. Links are in the description below. And as always, thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. The bow is really good. Hopefully we can make a void staff or a red buff out of that. We'll see what actually ends up happening. We still have the bottom pick because of risky moves. So that's the benefit of risky moves, is if you can make a strong board, you're going to get gold and the benefit of better Pengu's Gift, or in other sets, Carousel, and in this case, an Anvil as well. So we can go red buff here or void staff. I think I generally prefer Shred / Sunder over anti-heal, but I'm not going to be a picky person here. Let's just go ahead and play for void staff. This is going to be my strongest board by far, is more Vanguard. So I think I could level here if I really am afraid of losing. How afraid of losing am I? You know what? I'm going to greed. I didn't see this person level to 6, so I'm going to play a chill as well. They have Declaw. I think their board is really strong, but I think my board is also quite strong here. So we'll see. I think this was probably better looking back, so apologies for that. Teemo is certainly better than Arbiter Girl, but I think 4 Vanguard is probably quite a bit better. I'm hoping that my Zoe is stronger than the Teemo here, but we'll see. Teemo is not necessarily bad here, just because we do need to mix our front line and back line, and we do end up winning. So my fight judgment was good here. If you levels here, totally no problem. I think to want to level here. I think it's a very reasonable desire to want to level here. So I think people would be thinking, oh, heroic grab bag into Leona. I'm thinking actually, let's just make my Leona 2 stronger, and then we'll get stronger later as a result. So I think grab bag is the best thing here. Side effects is kind of interesting. Blood offering, not that interesting. Explosive is like doubling down on that, and I'd prefer to be stronger now. I think I can streak here. I might be able to streak regardless, so I think the really greedy option is explosive growth, but I know that you always need items. I think you always need items. You always need more items than you think, is what I have learned, is that you'll always need more items than you think. This is Shepherd, which might be quite a bit better. How do we feel about Gunblade? I don't feel like Gunblade is that important. It makes sense with Leona. At the same time, I don't think it's that important. So I'm going to reforge this, and hopefully we're going to get a frontline item or a backline item here. I think adapt. We don't need to slam here, so let's not do it if we don't need to. I think Archangels is really strong on my current board. It might be best item economy. I could be totally convinced about... I could be completely convinced that Archangels is actually our best. This is going to be an easy level choice for Nasus here. I don't think we really need to think about Zoe 3. It's not really that important to me. One could argue Rost is better, and honestly, I could see it. The thing is, I'm Conduit, so the armor is not that good. I think I should probably remove her here. Looking around, I don't think I actually need to remove her to make Archangel. So maybe we could end up with greedier items here. But I think Archangel Slam plus something else is going to be a bit better here. I could be convinced just because Rost is a better unit than Nasus 1. If this was Nasus 2, I think it's quite a bit better the other way. But Zoe's not using the attack speed nearly as much just because she is, like, most of the time channeling her ability, right? Channeling her ability, being mana lock. So... and my front line doesn't use it, but armor magic resist isn't too bad. We just have stone plate in the front, so it also makes sense that way, right? I'm gonna just put in some key units that I think are important that I might miss and not hold every single unit. Obviously, we want to end up on Bardstone, Blitzcrank, something like that, so I think we end up with that. Gosh, these are both deferred strength as well. This is deferred just because I'm probably not going to speed anything that's not on my endgame board, and this is definitely deferred. I think at some point we're going to start losing HP, and this would be valuable, so I think it's okay. And honestly, no one uses speed on my board right now, so I think it's kind of fine as well. Double Gargoyles make sense to me. We could also go Morello and then Adaptive, which also is okay. Let's go Morello Adaptive here, just so that I don't have to use a remover. Adaptive isn't the best item. I know that's true for the front line. It's like a worse gargoyle and stuff like that, but maybe we'll just make Morello and then sit. We do need that shred, that anti-heal. We got both. Maybe I won't make adaptive here in lieu of making something much better later. We have a very high roll opener here, so we're really strong, I think. And we're close to being strong, so I might do like a slight roll on the next level, but honestly we don't need to. It's just Alawi 2 more 2 are going to be on our final board. So it's never that inefficient to roll if the units are going to be on your final board, to be totally honest. Roll on 8, sorry. I would never roll here on 7. I might just slight roll on 8 for a better in, or for Nasus 2, or for 1 Nunu or something like that, just to start getting copies, and then also start hitting those contested units that end up strong on my board anyways. So we took risky moves, which ended up being quite risky, but I think overall pretty good. And we have not hit Leona's from the Arbiter, but we have hit it from the shop itself. It's getting to the point where I think I might want to flatten out my front line a bit. Everyone's standing over on the right side, so I'm going to flatten it out a bit so that Leona takes most of the aggro, but I'm not going to have her take all the aggro here. Now people are moving around. It's making me nervous. Actually, but we're gonna go the 2 out of 3. Yeah, this wasn't it, but I think their board is relatively weak, so I think it's okay. But obviously we have wisp positioning here. At least my buy-in did cast. As long as they cast, it's not like the worst thing in the world, but we do want to spread out our tanking as much as possible, as we've talked about in other videos. It looks like, ooh, it's so close with bad positioning. Even though I'm level 7, I have really upgraded strong units. That was a really close fight. Maybe I should have slammed adaptive there. I'm not the best fight judger. That was incredibly close, and I think it's probably worth the 10 streak if I can, because this round is worth 4 gold. We get one gold for winning and 3 golds for streaking, and then we get 3 gold streaking into neutrals as well. I think that's something people forget, is that you really want to streak into neutrals, because we're going to get that sweet gold after this round for 6 streaking. We're going to get +3 gold again here. Now I feel better about solo frontlining. We completely flipped from being at the bottom to now the top. We got the advantages of being at the bottom. We got that Victor for 1 turn, and we got the component anvil to make better items. So that's all really good there. I think here we just want to end up with 3 item frontline as much as possible here. And that's looking like it's going to be Visage and Adaptive. I think this is too easy of a level. And yeah, I think we're going to try to go straight to 9. I think people would play a legendary here. I don't think it's terrible. I think this makes quite a bit more sense. Let's do this. I think we might need to play around Nunu with how many mana items we end up getting. You can obviously move Adaptive back to backline later. Here, I'm going to wait. I think the big thing that we're thinking about going into our augments, sorry, we always need to be thinking ahead in TFT. TFT is a game that rewards thinking ahead. Do I need to slam another item? I don't think so. We really need to think about our augment. I have 3 item frontline, I have 3 item backline. I will have a duo carry coming up eventually with all the items we're going to get from here, from Divine Empathy, and from the Treasure Armory. So I'm not worried about having a duo carry. It looks like we're on pace to have a duo carry. I think the thing that I'm more worried about is when I hit all my units, how strong am I going to be? You know, I'm going to hit my units. I also think that's pretty likely. We could take gold to like guarantee hitting our units, but I feel quite good. Maybe we should be thinking really a lot about combat here. And I think combat would be the best thing to take here. These 2 are combat. I think when you think about overkilling, Bard and Sona, if that's what we're thinking about, Sona overkills, but Bard doesn't. But this is at least 10% damage amp, which I think is pretty good. And we don't have to position for like any best friends nonsense either. Because I hate positioning for best friends. We could reverse go into Space Groove, because that would be completely open. I think we're just a bit far from that is my thing. So all of these are definitely combat. I think we just want to keep more in line with the long-term, or sorry, the damage combat more so than anything. When we're thinking about our items, you have to, sorry, this person is probably going the Nova Fast 9 with Vex. So maybe LeBlanc was a bit more open than we thought. We don't need to slam adaptive here. If we can help it, it's probably a bit better. Yeah, so I'm already thinking about like Nunu here, just because Nunu would use these items better. We don't need to stay on the Leona 3 the whole game. In fact, if we're playing Alawi, Mordekaiser, and Blitz, we only have 1 more spot. And Nunu 2 is better than Leona 3. Late game, just because the fights are so fast, you don't need a tank, you need something that stops damage, and the thing that stops damage is Nunu CC, which is really valuable. And if we have 2 mana items, wow. Or sorry, this bow can't turn into much is my concern. We are not gonna hit Meepsy, so that is a bit of a concern. We could go like this, but that doesn't seem stronger to me. Is there a better shepherd for this? We constantly want to be reevaluating our board here. I just saw the strongest person and the strongest people in the lobby were right side here. I'm gonna slam an adaptive here. The strongest people on the right side. Oh, this person was Space Group, so good thing we didn't go that. The strongest people in our lobby were right side, especially the the sniper player. So we wanted to reduce the sniper damage and then have our Leona be a little bit more towards that side, just to make sure she was taking all the aggro from the right side people. It's very likely we lose here. They're level 8-0 golds. We have not spent a single gold, so we should be weaker. So don't feel bad if you end up losing rounds. These are our rounds to lose in theory. Like, I think we might end up winning, actually, funnily enough. But these would be our rounds to lose in theory, and it's totally okay. This bow is really tricky. I think it really just wants to be GS specifically. I think long and medium term, Soraka's is not that good. We don't need to heal HP, and this can give us an artifact that puts us over the top. I think we really want this to be GS specifically. That sounds really good. I don't know if I want to use removers off the Zoe. Teemo's not a great applier of Void Staff or Morello because he's single targets. I think we'll just GS my Teemo and figure it out a bit later. Another thing I think people would be thinking about, I've heard this suggestion a lot when I stream, is they're like, let's go straight to 10. You need a lot of gold. Just to be clear, like this costs 15 gold, this costs 15 gold, this costs 15 gold. They all cost 15 gold. It's actually really crazy to want to go 10 here. I think this is always GS because of what we talked about. It's very, very hard to make this bow be anything. We already have anti-heal. We already have Void Staff, Nashers. We have no JG. So GS is a really natural make here, I think. But yeah, people would think that let's go 10 or something like that. We really do not want to go to 10. This costs 15 gold, this costs 15 gold, this costs 15 gold. And we haven't even 2-starred Nunu, Morgana, Karma, all that other stuff. And we're talking about like 60 gold in just units here if we don't press D and if we're perfectly lucky, which isn't going to happen. I'm telling you guys right now, you have to press D and you're not going to get perfect shops where all 5 of these cards, all 5 of these tiles are going to be something useful. It's just not going to happen. So don't play super optimistically, play realistically. If I have 50 gold on 9, I'm not going to hit 3 2-star 5 costs, right? That's 45 of my gold and I haven't even pressed D yet. That's just not going to happen. Hopefully you see with basics, just pure basics here, we're beating a really strong board here. Yes, we are high rolling, just naturaling a lot of the units here, but at the same time, we've built anti-heal, shred. We have 3 good items up front, 3 good items up back, good augments. That's all that's happened this game. Everyone else has a pretty reasonable board. I think all of these are very reasonable boards, but at the same time, I've also made a very good board. We're going to try to go 9. I'm really surprised this person was... Oh, they took forward thinking and booster pack. Of course, they can go 9. I think we're in a really good position to win the game here. I think it's pretty likely that we win the game, actually, from this spot. On 14 streak, usually you should be winning the game unless there's some crazy anima player or something like that. Even then, I think you could arguably win those games. And that means the game is balanced well, right? If you win 15 rounds in a row, you hopefully can win the game. So we would have ended up in the 2-way LeBlanc contest, which we promptly avoided. And now we're going to try to win through another way by playing different units. I mean, a lot of the same units are in the same shell, but that's not the important part. This is Sterix, which is like half a frontline item. I think I can do a bit better. TG sounds really good here to me. We're going to start our roll down. I think we're never playing Nasus, to be totally honest with you. I don't think I really care about these Vexes. We don't have items for Vex. Bard 2 is better than Acel 2, but Acel 2 is probably more achievable. And I say that, and we actually do hit the other one. We want to hit a different Shepherd. What Shepherd am I thinking of? Sona? Sona is the one I'm thinking of. So we definitely don't need a hold for Bard 3 there. I think Acel, we don't need a hold for everything. I'm keeping this person just in case. So we're going to want our best items on our best units here. Give me 1 second to think about this. I think TG Blitz is something really easy that we can do right now. I'm going to flatten out my front line. Our best items on our best units. I think my best item is, in fact, GS, Rabadons, and let's put Void here. Let's put Morello here, and we're probably just going to anomaly you for now. I think if we were a bit faster, we would anomaly my Leona here instead, and just put adaptive on backline. That seems pretty good to me instead, actually. So we really want to replace our Teemo. What is our ideal third Shepherd? We haven't found Meepsy yet. Dang. Meepsy would be great to add. So even though I hit on this roll down, I have no urgency. Sorry, let's move a bunch of items really quickly here. Let's put you on backline, you on front line. Totally fine here. If we lacked anti-heal, we could play the Echo Boon here, but we don't need to do that. I wonder if maybe we can do like a semi-flat front line. Something like this is okay. I would think. We don't need to roll here. We still have a lot of rounds of TFT left to be played. We probably actually want to be scaling to 9, or scaling to 10 rather. Normally I wouldn't be thinking about scaling to 10, but I think it's completely fine to be thinking about it when you're 16 streaking. If you're not thinking about scaling to about your scaling and you're donkey rolling every turn, that's probably not a good thing either. We have a lot of pairs we're sitting on, so it's pretty reasonable to roll here, but I don't think I need to be true zero every single fight to do that. Hopefully we are getting absolutely wrapped here. I think we probably would have won if we didn't get wrapped, but it looks like our streak comes to an end here. This person is holding a lot of blitzcranks. We probably need to keep track of how many blitzcranks are out, how many sonas are out, because we are running a random Lissandra, which is not very good. Who is the shepherd? I guess you're the least useful shepherd here. And this is an artifact. Completely forgot about this. Evelyn's Instinct. Attack speed. Let's put this on you for now. I think ideally this actually wants to be on Blitzcrank is the thing. Maybe we could 3-item our Blitzcrank later. But we're going to put this on you for now, just so that I don't have to use a remover for my karma. This is what I mean by you want to think ahead. I think we do really want to think about karma. Or sorry, we do really want to think about our removers and optimizing all our items. Even here, I want a 3rd item on Bard and moving this Void Staff over, and that's kind of what I'm thinking about here. And this TG is pretty valuable, but and Blitz makes sense, but if we can find a better one, that's probably better. I don't know this Evelyn's Instinct is that good, but at least it could... Teemo's flying all over the place. At least this attack speed could be good on Blitz. I could totally see it. Here, we were looking for a better Bard item to get off Void Staff. I think let's try to do that. I didn't find anything here, unless I'm crazy. I don't see anything better here. So I think I'm going to do... Gunblade can't be that bad. Gunblade can't be that bad. I wonder... Surely Gunblade's a bit better than the utility item. I always try to... excuse me, I always try to do the make sure I have 3 real items on a unit. I don't really like Gunblade as an item. I just think healing is like not that important. I would always rather do damage, but Void Staff's only slightly less AP, and Karma's pretty good at applying Void Staff as well, so putting all our utility items on one unit seems pretty reasonable to me. The caps are going to be really, really strong here. This Riven is crazy, crazy strong, and we did get wrapped here. Riven does some crazy things on the wrap. I think we were probably quite a bit stronger. This Teemo's going crazy as well, speaking of units going crazy. But it does not appear to be enough with the whole wrapping situation. The Teemo, wait for it? No. Teemo was going crazy here. I think the TG is kind of weird because we want Blitz to have good items, but at the same time, maybe we have to start giving them better items. This TG is actually not super good for a while. Oh, wow, this makes an Edge of Night. I'm starting to think... Oh, I forgot about Divine Empathy. I completely forgot about that. Maybe Edge of Night was not that good. I think we're just going to try to 3-item my Blitz here. I know that these aren't the best items. Maybe I should have waited for the Divine Empathy. Maybe we should have waited for the Divine Empathy. I'm also thinking about flattening out my front line. Some weird stuff is happening, and I'm not really a big fan of, like, my Leona getting tossed and all that good stuff. We could sell the Ross. I think Morgana 2 is my next in, maybe. We could bolster our front line. All the new news are completely out, as you guys have seen, so I know I did talk about... I'm getting wrapped again. This is different type of wrap, so that's okay. We could sell the Ross. I think Ross is going to be on my endgame board, so I'm kind of always fine keeping things that are going to be on my endgame board. Ross has too many traits here. 12% attack speed, it's a lot. I wonder if we could get a better in. Meeple. Meeple doesn't really help Bard at all. Arbiter, Psionic. We could add Pike to our board, but I think we already decided against that. I think Morgana makes sense. We kind of just need frontline at the end of the day. I think we want a 3rd Blitz item here. I think I'm going to flatten this out quite a bit and just try to side this and put the Blitz in the 2nd row. I think. Let's try to get 3 real items on Blitz. This Edge of Night was probably not that good given his passive, but I don't think it's that bad. Late game, it's completely fine. I don't think we want to put Gunblade on Blitz. We have too much healing on Blitz. I normally want 3-item good Bard, but I think all my units are carrying, is the good news. And we do end up with that. Is this better than Rost? I think it's only better than Rost if we get items for it. Here, I'm not seeing a lot of good... I wonder if Morgana 2 is stronger. It's kind of really weird to think about, but I think Morgana 2 is actually stronger. If Morgana 2 is stronger, I think we want to scale into Nunu as well and get off this. Leona, if she's not my main tank, it's totally fine. Hopefully you see we perfectly right-sided here. Last time we got wrapped by Riven. This time, no such thing will happen here. So we're not going to have 3-item Blitz. I think ideally we ended up with 3-item Blitz, but I don't even have Blitz 2. And I think adding more frontline is pretty reasonable at the same time. We do not get wrapped. We just get completely front to back. So we are just a weaker player right now. And the Space Group player is looking incredibly strong there. We're still scaling. We're in fact going to be analyzing is how much we're scaling. And we can still hit Sona 2 and Blitz 2 and still hit items on it. We can also hit Nunu 2, get rid of this. And this would be stronger. If that's the case, I'm not sure if I should have got got off Leona carry, but we'll see here how that works out. I want to run away as much as possible from the Fioras. How many Blitzcranks are out? They have 1, 2. They have 3, and I have 2. Lots of Blitzcranks are out. Very, very scary. This person hit the entire board and is very strong, so it's a very, very scary player to say the least. I think we'll be analyzing the situation. We got some rounds of TFT left to be played, especially if we can win any of these fights. I don't think we have the highest cap board in the game by any means, but we probably have a good enough board to try to win here. If we maximize our gold, maximize our HP here, I think we should have enough gold to try to win here. But it looks like this Fiora is completely taking over, if we're being honest. Some Blitzcranks are back in the pool. It doesn't really matter if we're 1 life or 2 life. We just have to be stronger than this person coming up next. I forgot about this. Oh, wow. You know, with this much gold, I think we don't need to worry too much about maximizing the gold. Maybe we can win by 3-star 4 cost or something like that. Let's add the Ross to the board. The bow would have been probably better. We could have made GS instead of Edge of Night Blitzcrank, but it's probably completely fine. Who do we want to put this bow on? I don't know. I'm just going to add it to the Rost. Maybe you can cast faster. Not a big deal any which way. So we got significantly stronger. And we're still looking to replace this Leona with a Nunu 2. And I think the Visage will be quite a bit stronger. And then we still can make our Blitzcrank get a 3rd item here. So I think we have a lot of opportunity to be stronger here. The bad news is this Fiora is kind of completely smurfing on us. But we'll see how this ends up going. Yeah. All you need is enough gold to hit the board. You don't need all the gold. I don't think Hodge is that good in this spot. Void Staff. We already have a Void Staff. Void Staff is honestly like a pretty good item, but let's see if we can do anything better here. That seems good. We could have swapped these two. I don't know. Surely Karma is actually a bit worse, so my bad on that. We want a damage item on my Blitzcrank. I don't really see one. Strikers is probably fine. Sona's probably better than Karma, so apologies. We kind of fucked that up. And we probably should just be rolling for Nunu 2 over this guy. So we have bad positioning here, or worse positioning here rather. But I think it's still okay. We put our main tank in front of their main carry. I think it's mostly okay. I'm a bit worried about this Fiora. In the scheme of things, I'm pretty worried about it, but we still have some improvements to make to my board. So notice how we're always thinking about improvements. We're always thinking about how can my board get better. Even at the late game, I'm always thinking about how I can make my board better. Wow, this positioning turned out a lot better. I'm not sure why. Maybe my Blitz just started doing more damage. We definitely should have swapped these items here and done the remover trick where you remover this and then pop off the TG off of a clone. So apologies about that. Let's just roll. Maybe we should watch if they're doing anything weird. We could remake Sona, I guess. And I believe that this is going to be quite a bit better. We have all our damage stacked on the right side. I guess I could stack it a bit more, but I'm a little worried about getting Nunu ulted here. His Fiora is going more towards the middle. So his Fiora and his Vex. So I really like this positioning from Weihao. I think it's really, really smart positioning. I'd be really surprised if this wasn't a Smurf account, actually, with how they are positioning. My Blitzcrank tosses the Fiora back, thank God. And we still might be able to win the front to back, but it's going to be a lot closer given that my Morgana is like full HP. It's kind of awkward, but it looks like it's enough. We'll see. They do give up, and that is the game. So hopefully you see that by playing like really reasonably from the start and just by iterating, we're always thinking about our next win. This is how you cap out, is by always thinking about your next in, how to make my board stronger. I was thinking about getting off my void staff, thinking about the 2 stars that I need to play around, and that's how you promote to emeralds, by doing these small things. From a good start, this is how you snowball it. This is how you snowball it all the way. We didn't get into the 3-way LeBlanc contest. We got away from the LeBlanc contest here. Even though that would have been strongest board, we found a different way to be strong, and we found a different way to be strong early, and we found a different way to be strong later as well. If you guys like these videos, please like and subscribe. If you guys are still playing this set, please keep watching my videos. That they should be helpful, and watch my stream as well. That's where I play on my main account, where I'm, as you can see, 1700 LP here. That is the best place to learn in practice, even if you aren't emerald or anything like that. That should help you a lot more climb to your really high goals. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your day.